Welcome, fantasy football faithful, to another episode of Testosterone Fantasy Sports. I'm your host, Jeff, sitting in Jesse's chair today. Alongside me today, I'd like to welcome a special guest, one of the writers for Testosterone, Zach Miller. Thanks for being here, Zach. We do on the show a little fist pound. Zach, I see that you're totally dressed up in your purple gear. The woes of the Viking football team not getting you down, it doesn't look like. Anyway.
No, I'm not a bandwagon fan by any means. I'm Vikings all the way. So
Yeah.
I know they're 1-3 right now, but I'll continue to root and to see where the season goes.
Even if the bandwagon might be plummeting off the cliff, you're there driving, hair all aflame.
Absolutely. So that way when they get their winning rolls, I'm there.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
I don't want to be one of those guys that just shows up when they're winning.
Yeah, you can't be like that, right? No. I swear, I've taken more grief at work and throughout my day from other Viking fans this week than the Packer fans. I'd like to thank everybody out there who I know in the green and gold covenant that have gone easy, because it's not been an easy week for us Viking fans. At 1-3, the bye week really couldn't come at a better time, and our season, it could be the shortest Viking season ever. Zach, isn't it just a dredge to think about it?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, thank God we got the Wild come up, and to me, I think they're like the only sports team we got right now that can possibly go on and win anything. But for me, I'm a big football fan, so I'll watch them regardless, and whatever happens, happens. So
there have definitely been a few bright spots for the Vikings this year. The defense we'll start with. We're stopping the run really nice. I'm really impressed with the play of Big Pat Williams and his bro by another mother, Kevin. They're stuffing the run real nice. We even saw Big Kevin ramble for a touchdown early on in the season. And I think that was our first win, right? Our first game.
and only.
Yeah, in the last 3
far.
weeks, no wins. So thanks to Kevin Williams for helping to bring that one home.
Well, the only thing about Kevin Williams, I know he had those first two great games, but it seems like he hasn't really been much of a factor in the last two games. So I don't know what his deal is right now.
Well, don't you think there's a chance that our defense is looking at the situation realistically, saying, the offense is a little bit inept, we don't have much of a passing game, and that's got to be really disheartening on that side of the ball.
Yeah, being on the defense, it would be really hard to stay focused, when you're putting all these stops together and your offense can't get anything going for you. So I know it'd be frustrating, I know that, but
yeah.
The way they're played right now, you just got to think that if we can just get something going on offense, we'd be able to pull some of these wins out.
It really doesn't help when your offense is your best weapon on offense is your defense, basically.
Yeah,
and they got us one victory in week one, and it was a little bit of a falsehood just because we haven't had anything going on offense. And those guys are going to be on the field more and more as we can't move the ball, and I'm concerned that we're going to start to sustain injuries. So those of you who are invested in the Vikings defense, enjoy it now, but kind of temper your expectations as things go along. You might think about packaging them in a sell high type situation over the next couple of weeks. Another bright spot has been the kid, Adrian Peterson. He's been so much fun to watch. He's got really big game-breaking abilities, and as far as a player who you can build your team around, I know, Zach, you're heavily invested in him on the fantasy football field too.
Absolutely. The thing I'm getting a little frustrated though with the Vikings right now is we seem to underutilize them. We're not using them, especially at the end of games when we need to score. He's sitting on the sidelines. We've got Chester out there. You'd think you'd want a guy who can score from anywhere on the field. You'd want him out on the field to give you the best shot of getting in the end zone, especially when your defense is stopping. You just need something to get your team going and just get in there. But
when you were watching the game this past week against the Green and Gold and you saw Adrian return kicks, what went through your mind? I know for me it was complete audacity and surprise.
Yes. Well, obviously you don't want him to get hurt, but I think it's just Schiller's way of getting him in the game to have something happen to keep him in there, because he's got to put Chester in there at some point. So what I'd like to see is have, get Chester and AP on the field at the same time. It'd be kind of cool. Make the defenses guess a little bit, because I mean, you put AP in, you know where the ball's going to go.
Right.
And then you put Chester
and it seems like their talents really complement each other. We can have Adrian up the middle, moving the chains inside the tackles.
Or be a third down guy, because he's got some receiving skills.
And then Chester can work out of the backfield, catching the ball or working the corners, and in doing that, we're going to keep teams on their toes. And then what's nice is, like you're saying, Adrian can catch the ball as well as Chester, so they're both weapons in the passing game.
That's another thing. Our receiving core is so weak, we could always split one of those guys out. Put Chester, AP, put him in the slot. That'd be a mismatch for any linebacker.
Right.
So I don't know.
So now, and we saw Tarveris get injured. So Kelly Holcomb came in. He was about as good as Tarveris, although maybe a little bit better down the field. Now with the bye week, Tarveris is definitely going to be healthy. Who do you think they're going to start at quarterback?
Oh, you got to go Tarveris. I mean, we drafted him in the second round 2 years ago. You can't really count on last year's stats to mean anything, because he was throwing there with 2 games left.
Yeah.
But this year, he's only played, 2 games. He sat out 2. We got kind of a feel. He played pretty good the first week. He was pretty rough in the Detroit game, throwing the 4 interceptions.
Yep.
But the way you invest a second-round pick, you might as well just let him play the rest of the season
Right.
and see what happens. I mean, we're not looking like we're going to the playoffs anyway. So.
Yep. The last couple of weeks, we had a heartbreaking loss of the Packers, obviously. It was super impressive to me how our defense continues to put us into a position to win the game, forcing the fumble. It looked like they knew they needed to get a turnover. They amped up their hits. Antoine forced a fumble that was called an incomplete pass on the one play, but right before we got the turnover. But then also in the week before that against the Chiefs, our defense put us in a position to win too. My question is now with the play calling in that situation, we seem to be disorganized, when the game's winding down at the end. Do you think there's a problem with the play calling, the coaching staff? What's your take on that?
Well, it could be that, and it also could be Kelly Holcomb. He's only been with our team for about a few weeks now, and he came in like 1 week before the season started, and maybe he's just not into the flow of things right now. And
one issue.
We have a lot of young. we have a lot of young players
Right.
too, especially at our skill positions. So
Yeah. One issue that I had in
being
that game was it seemed like, we had the ball. I'm talking about the Packer game. We had the ball at the end of the first half. We had just a little bit of time. We could have put ourselves in a position to at least have a field goal attempt. But as the time clicked down at the end of the first half, it really appeared that Kelly Holcomb wasn't able to get the signal or the play in his helmet. And our line, as the time clicked down, was just kind of standing around the line of scrimmage. And you would think that with the proper coaching, those guys would be ready. When I think about it, I simplify it in my mind. Time's running down. We need to get on the ball and call a play as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So let's have a package of plays for that.
Yeah.
And let's practice it every day. And let's call it the red package. Red. Everybody's hustling up. They know it's red. We got to get on the ball. Then we say red 4. That means the 4th play in the red package.
Okay.
Doesn't that seem pretty simple?
You'd think so. So maybe over this bye week, they're trying to figure out those.
So I mean, that kind of stuff makes me confused as to what's going on there. I definitely want to support our coaching staff and the team and what's going on. But when I see our star players getting put in positions where they could likely get hurt, like Adrian Peterson returning kicks, and when I see disorganization at the end of a half, it makes me wonder about the ability of the leadership over there. And I'm concerned right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have anything to say.
A little bit. I mean, I'm not a big Chillers fan to begin with, but I'm going to give him a chance and see where he can roll. I mean, it's only his second year, so we'll see how it goes. And I know Ziggy has all the confidence in the world with him, so we'll see. I mean, obviously he picked him to be our coach for a reason.
Right.
So,
So, of course, the media pundits around here, they're going to be talking a lot of conspiracy-type things and everything. Some people are saying that the team is preparing itself to leave. I'm very concerned about whether that's going to happen or not, although it won't be a few more years, I think, 0-11.
I think we got 0-11. Our lease runs out, so.
So there's got to have to be a lot more that'll happen until then. In the meantime, we've got the bye week right now, and then coming out of the bye, 2 tough road games at Chicago, at Dallas. Chicago's been through a little bit of the meat grinder, kind of like us. They're going to be angry and a little bit irritated when we show up, and they're going to be looking to eat our lunch, man. How do you think we fare against them?
That could be our chance to finally get back to the winning. They have a lot of injuries. Their entire defense is really hurting. Their secondary, I mean, they've been giving up a lot of yards the last couple of games, and it could be a chance for us to maybe finally get something going on offense. And I know our defense shouldn't have a problem with Brian Greasy playing, and there's nothing scary in their offense. It's their defense, and with so many guys hurt on their defense, that could be the one game we could really take advantage of and get rolling again. So
the Chicago Bears are down to their second string defensive backs right now, so they're having injuries all over their secondary. We should be able to move the ball through the air if we can get any kind of chemistry going between our wide receivers and Tarveris. One of the other bright spots on our team has been Sidney Rice. It'd be nice to see Tarveris shoot for the end zone to Sidney. He's got some nice leaping ability, brought down a very nice ball. And on the fantasy field, he's developing really nicely.
Well, he's by far our best receiver. You can just tell when he's on the field. And our new offense coordinator, Darryl Bevel, he's put some pretty good play calls together. It's just the fact that Kelly Holcomb's not hitting him on those deep routes. I mean, last game we had Sidney for a couple that he really could have, and then Ferguson in the game before that, which we set up that play perfectly and just overthrew him.
So down the field accuracy has been one of the issues that our boys need to work on at the quarterback position. Hopefully they're getting extra work here this weekend. At Dallas is going to be another tough game. So that's going to do it now for the purple segment. A little bit blue here to the point I'm frustrated enough that I'm breaking my pen. So thanks for joining us on Testosterone. I'm Jeff. This is Zach, and we'll be right back after this short break.